From politics to global events, from social issues to breaking news, Lead Story Prime dives deeper, cuts through the noise, and uncovers the stories that shape your world. Join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for Lead Story Prime with me, George Davis, for an hour of incisive analysis, expert interviews, and unparalleled coverage of the issues you care about. Lead Story Prime, your front row seat to the most compelling discussions. Lead Story Prime, where the truth comes first. Only on CVM TV. So while the Holiness administration hunts a third term, at the ground level are several members of parliament who are also looking for a third consecutive term in office. Among them, Heroy Clark, the man who holds all the aces for now in Central St. James, going back for more, seeking a third consecutive term in office. And the woman that is standing in his way potentially, Senator Janice Allen of our team PNP. We've invited Heroy Clark in the studio tonight to talk about the path that he hopes to take to that third term, and why is it that voters in Central St. James would push the X beside the bell and his name on the ballot paper when they do the business on September 3. It's Lead Story Prime. My name is George Davis. I'm ready to go. Are you? Well, I tell you all the time that my favorite rapper, Jay-Z, they christened at birth as Sean Corey Carter, he gave us the phrase, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And the numbers we're going to show you right now are nobody's opinion of the tale of the tape in Central St. James over the past few elections, but they represent facts. So this seat, which is, well, 2011, there's something to say, but I'll say that afterwards. 2011, Lloyd B. Smith, the newspaper publisher of Western Mirror fame, entered the race for the PNP, and it was a surprise victory for him, Heroy Clark falling 98 votes short of Lloyd B. Smith in 2011. Remember, that election, December 29 that year, Andrew Holness's first time seeking an own mandate, and he fell to Simpson Miller's PNP in that election. Forward to 2016, Holness and the JLP, February 25. Remember that day? They said it would have been payday for the Labour Rights, and they were right. 1,919 votes, the difference between himself and Ashley Ann Foster. Now, Ashley Ann Horn, the UK-educated, well, she's now a businesswoman, but she was a rising star of the PNP at the time, neutralized by Heroy Clark, who had 1,900 and plus votes to spare when the ballots were finished counted. Then forward to 2020, and Heroy Clark, this time Andre Hilton, the former member of parliament for Eastern St. Andrew, sent with the assignment to stop Heroy Clark in St. James. Well, Heroy Clark pulling out 6,481 votes. Hilton nowhere to be seen, 2,858 down in the mire. Heroy Clark, a very, very comfortable victory, a resounding one for him. In the three elections of recent time in Central St. James, the average difference between the winner and the loser, 15.1 percentage points. Nothing much in it in 2011, but the difference just keeps growing and growing, and Heroy Clark seems to be on a trajectory to exerting long-term dominance in the seat of Central St. James. The local government elections, Salt Spring, JLP, Montego Bay South East, JLP, Mo Bay South, JLP, 3995 votes the JLP got across those three divisions. At the local government polls in 2024, the PNP 2691 way down the line. And then in the 2020 divisional, well, in 2020, this is how they voted in the 2020 general elections if you were to break them down by divisions, seeing the JLP over 2,000 each of the three divisions. So it seems as if the JLP have something good going in Central St. James, sufficient for Heroy Clark to be very confident that third time will be a charm for him and that he'll continue to serve the constituency of Central St. James. This is what it looks like on the map. Montego Bay South and Montego Bay South East, two of the divisions. Salt Spring, the division that most people would know by name, because I mean, if you go to Montego Bay and say, okay, show me Montego Bay South East, people will look at you as if you're an alien, yeah? So it's by the communities, but Salt Spring is somewhere we all know, hearing it in the news for good things these past few days, especially past few months, maybe 2 years, with the intervention of some social intervention programs. Larger put, my producer is assisting me here, very nice of you. So this is what the map looks like in terms of the breakout of the three divisions in the constituency of Central St. James. So he's here, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, and he has kindly consented. He's traveled from far to be with us, and so we have to treat him with respect as a guest in our house. Mr. Clark, good evening, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I am very, very good. So here's the thing now. The obvious place to start is to tell the listeners and the viewers that Central St. James has really been in place since 1967. Herbert Eldemeyer won the seat at that time, a JLP stalwart. Denise Eldemeyer Scherer, that's her father. 1972, the seat was in play again when Francis Stoller, the former tourism minister under a PNP administration, won that seat. And then it was removed from the list of constituencies. Came back in 2011. Clark tried his hand at that time, fell short to Lloyd B. Smith, 98 votes short. But since then, Central St. James has been Heroy Clark territory. The first question to ask you, sir, well, before we even do that, we must honor you by looking at your qualifications then. Deputy House Speaker since 2023. As we said, those two victories in Central St. James in 2016 and 2020. Former Vice President of Young Jamaica, which is the youth arm of the JLP. I keep reminding people the youth arm of the JLP is not G2K, that's the Young Professional Affiliate. Young Jamaica is the youth arm, and JLP counsel for the Montego Bay Southeast Division. So he has experience at the local government level, and now he has experience at the central government level as a member of parliament. He's a part of, I think, 9 committees in the parliament, so they keep him busy. The government leans on him a lot, and very often you'll see him in the speaker's chair in the House. So I've said a lot about you. You have to speak for yourself. You're Cornwall College old boy, University of the Commonwealth of the Caribbean, my alma mater, University of Technology, is where he did his LLB, and he is a businessman, customs broker. He is a farmer, he says as well. So Heroy Clark says he's a man of many talents. A long introduction. Good evening again.
Thank you very much, once.
Where do you live?
I live in Farm Heights, Montego Bay.
And that is in your constituency?
Definitely in the heart of my constituency.
Describe the constituency for those who don't know where Central St. James is, unable to differentiate between West Central St. James, Southern St. James, Northwest Central St. James. Where is
so we are, George, we are dead center St. James, Montego Bay. The town center forms 50% or so of the constituency. So if you come to Montego Bay, and I will tell you that downtown Montego Bay is Central St. James, and you go to the communities of a section of Mount Salem, anything that is on your left going up to Mount Salem. So the hospital, the police station, the school is in the constituency of St. James Central. You go over into Rosemount Gardens, Rose Heights, Rosemount Meadows, Morningside Drive, Appleton Hall, Flower Hill, Salt Spring, Cornwall Court, Green Pond. Those are some of the names, the community names that are there. We are 77% informal, so you understand because of the urban setting, what it gives. So you look at a Canterbury and Albion Lane, those communities form part and parcel of St. James Central.
You say 77% informal, and we're talking about that now, and you mentioned that now. I recall in the build-up to the 2016 vote, when I took a particular interest in that contest between yourself and Ashley Ann Foster, you said then that the informal communities in the constituency represented about 77% of the total population, which would mean that in 9 years, not much has changed in terms of the structure, the description, the demographic descriptor of the constituency.
Well, even though the life of most of the residents would have changed over this period,
yes,
it is still an informal settlement.
Yes.
And therefore you understand that it is not the community that makes you, it is you who makes a community. And therefore, over time, we are getting to the point of persons accepting the fact that even though I am living in Rose Heights, I don't have to have that stigma attached to me. So we have quite a number of doctors, we have engineers, we have many tradesmen, musicians coming out of Rose Heights, which is one of the largest, by the way, informal settlement in Jamaica. But we have been working assiduously to make sure that even though it is still, and until we have formalized the situation to make it a community different from what it should be, the people of Rose Heights continue to make themselves better off.
Yeah, I'm one of those who believe, MP, that an aspirant for a seat ought to have ties to the seat. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say you must live there, but I think you must have had a home there at some point. I don't agree with being parachuted somewhere. So I ask about...
Fortunately or unfortunately, as the case is, I live in my constituency. So whatever happens to the people in the constituency happens to me.
Yes.
So if water goes one morning...
And that's where I'm going, yes.
If water goes one morning for some resident, it goes for me. And I dare not even try to make things different for myself by saying, okay, I'm going to order a truckload of water. No, I have to live the life that the people are living because I am representing the people. Notwithstanding all of that, I am from a community, 14 Robert Ray Drive. If you come to Montego Bay and ask persons 14 Robert Ray Drive, nobody knows. If you ask them, where's tenement at Salt Spring Road, then everybody will tell you. That's where I grew up, in a tenement yard. So I understand what my people face. I remember days when we were going to Cornwall. We had to wake up in the mornings to make sure to catch a bath, which was an outside bathroom because a tenement yard. You understand? So I understand. There was never a gold spoon in my mouth. I've never seen a gold spoon. I don't know what a gold spoon look like. I can tell you, I know what a soft drinks bottle, picking it up at school to take it home to the shop up the street to change it.
Bottle police.
Well, I was a bottle police in Cornwall.
Police. There you go.
You understand me? And that is part of my life growing up.
Yeah.
Because things were rough in and around the 80s.
Yes.
Not going to say different.
Yes.
You understand me? But we learned to be resilient. We learned to survive. And that was a part of our survival.
After the break, I want you to tell me what your understanding of the tough issues in Central St. James have caused you to do over your terms in office to help to ameliorate, if not change, the realities of many of your constituents. Heroy Clark, Central St. James MP, Lead Story Prime. More after the break.
My name is Dahoni Adlam. I am 35 years of age.
I'm Ruby Smith. I'm 83 years of age. The house, what I really been into, it wasn't wholesome.
My house got burned down. It was terrible. I lost everything in the fire.
Ready?
I still so happy.
I'm happy that I have somewhere again. The new social housing program, I am happy because it gives me a second chance and others as well.
The government, through the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, is building hope, one home at a time.
Style, strength, smarts. Meet Jetor, the SUV that's changing the game in Jamaica. It's family first, tech smart, and road ready for all your adventures. Voice activation? Check. Next level safety? Absolutely. Trust? Built in. Jetor is here and it's ready for every journey. Call 888-4JETOR and visit our showrooms island-wide today.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Heroy Clark has been Member of Parliament in Central St. James since the 2016 general election, and he's asking constituents, preparing to ask constituents, well, he is asking constituents actively for a third straight term in office. So we've used the first part of the show, Member of Parliament, to set out what your antecedents, your professional qualifications, where you live, and your experiential, the experience that you take to asking someone to vote for you again. Now, here's the tough part now. Since 2016, you've had a long run, you've had an undisturbed run of 9 years, notwithstanding COVID, yeah? What have you done to change the situation where water, roads, unemployment, social decay is concerned in some of those communities that you remember that are part of your constituency?
I'm happy that you asked me that question, George, because the moniker, King of Road, was given to me leading from 2016 up to 2020 and onward. Did not come by just giving a nickname. It was because the people of Central St. James saw what we were doing. So we would have overlaid many roads. Roads that were just dirt track, we have Barber Green. Inside Rosite, inside Salt Spring. When you go to Salt Spring today, road like Bucktoe Lane, Lammy Lane, Repasture, Cottage, Supermarket, all of those roads are Barber Green today. So it speaks volume to the work that the resident and I have been doing, because it's not me alone. The residents are a part of it. They make sure that the workers who come from outside make sure that they are comfortable, to make sure that the roads are done properly. So we have overlaid, pipes are in place for water. Every single one of these streets, nobody has to go to a standpipe anymore. Water is going into these lanes. The problem with the situation is that we are experiencing a little situation that NWC is presently dealing with.
What's that?
Water shortage. And let's not fool ourselves. We have that problem. But as I said, even as late as today, I have been in dialogue with NWC president, the chairman, and the vice president with responsibility for the West. And they have assured me that we will be seeing different stuff. Notwithstanding all of that, the Prime Minister would have just launched the Water Resilience Project, which will take into to focus all the problem that we have been having. Part and parcel of the problem in St. James on a whole is that we are growing leaps and bounds. On the commercial side of it, you are seeing, even as late as yesterday, he was breaking ground for a multi-room hotel. The business section of it is growing. The residential section of it is growing, because persons now realizing that the commercial sector is growing are moving into Montego Bay to get catch at a cousin yard or a friend yard.
So and that's one of the things I want to talk about, but I'm coming to that. But be very specific with me here. How many communities would you say you have now caused to be using inside pipe, inside plumbing, who were formerly using standpipes?
Salt Spring on a whole. Full stop. Salt Spring.
So Salt Spring, the broad community of Salt Spring.
Broad community of Salt Spring.
Standpipes. No, people have bathing, cooking in their own homes with water inside their own homes.
No, because we have now put in place water pipes into every single lane. Every single lane. There's no lane, there's no street in Salt Spring that can say we don't have the infrastructure in place ready to take the water.
And what's the impact of the standpipization, let me call it that, outside of Salt Spring?
It speaks volume, because what it does, as a government, you have to teach, you have to get persons to understand that a way of life is something of the past. And you now have to standardize, you now have to formalize, you now have to move with the time. And persons understand, say, hey, this is how we have to do things now.
But give me an answer to that now. Outside of Salt Spring, what have you done where the standpipe removal is concerned in the other parts?
So you speak to areas of Rosite, because Rosite is just the same, because it's a part of the informal settlement. Canterbury is also a part of it. But if you go to Canterbury today, persons will offer you a glass of water from the tap in the house and not outside. So these are some of the things that we have been doing over the years. When it comes on to social infrastructure, we have just completed and renovated a multi-purpose facility in Farm Heights. We have done one in Portobello.
What kind of facility?
And these are community centers.
Ah, speaking of that, because I got a video, it may have been 2 weeks ago, from your opponent, where she was showing a building in the background. The building looked good, I must tell you. Nicely painted, fresh and nice, and saying, look at this chain, this padlocked gate. Senator Janice Allen, she said that a group of elderly persons who normally caucus for some community-based meetings, she said that she had to be finding accommodations for them because they didn't have access to a facility. That she says the MP locked the facility, built the facility, locked it up, the residents have no access to it, and she's demanding an answer. So you are here and I'm asking you why, how come?
False and fake. The fact of the matter is that she does not understand. She came into the community not knowing what the situation was. I would have encouraged her to have spoken to somebody who has the information. Myself, I would gladly give her the information. The fact of the matter is that we could not have used the facility even though the structure was completed because the light, which is necessary, the water that is necessary, we had a situation wherein the contractor had an outstanding bill to pay. And so we were working on that to clear that. Now that all of that has been done, NHD has taken care of it because that facility was upgraded because of a program by the Prime Minister then that says 100 NHD communities that was done over a period of time would have gotten some facelift. And we took it on to take the advancement and the infrastructural development of the community center as our project. And so over $60 million would have been spent to upgrade the facility.
So you've not locked people out,
no,
but you resolved the issue that caused you to...
And it is not that she had to find somewhere for the
well, that's what
elderly.
she said.
No. What happened is that the elderly would have gone to the church, the Seventh-day Adventist church, and asked them to accommodate the situation, which we are all aware of, until the community center was open. Now the facility is first class. They can do their crochet, their knitting, whatever elderly people can do. They have a full conference room, they have a full kitchen. The Minister of Local Government who came and do the opening had given his word that we'll get everything as it relates to appliance, fridge, stove, microwave, the whole thing.
You spoke of the fact of urbanization in Montego Bay and the informal nature of the community, 70% you say. I keep going back to an interview I would have done with Dr. Horace Chang, what about 2006, where he said that Montego Bay's biggest problem at that time, that was 19 years ago, he said Montego Bay's biggest problem was a growing informalization, where people from all over Western Jamaica were coming because of the jobs available.
Not only Western Jamaica. The fact of the matter, and I said it earlier, the fact of the matter that so many development is taking place. When you look at the Pinnacle, that is going to create some more jobs,
But here's the question. So he predicted, he said that the growth in the informal communities was causing a strain that municipal and central government facilities were struggling to provide services for. So I ask you, your constituency has a lot of these people coming in, because you mentioned it yourself. How are you able to meet the needs of these informal residents, growing number, house here, where, land titling, hooking up to the power grid, getting on the NWC's supply line, all of those things? Those are challenges that I want to hear you tell me how you've dealt with over time.
So presently we are working on the titling of Rosites, which is the informal settlement. So we're working with HAJ, the Office of the Prime Minister, just the same, to make sure that persons in a short period of time will have a piece of paper in their hands to say that this is my title. Part and parcel of the problem is that we will have to re-survey the properties, because informal, as the word is what is on the ground. So you find that if you should look at the whole subdivision, one man peg falls in another man yard. And so we will have to do what we call a as-is survey. So wherever your neighbor say is a line between both of you, that's where the pegs are going to be. And then we can know formalize that project.
And as a man who grew up in a tenement yard, I know you know it's not easy to determine whose space is where.
Exactly. So what the government is doing now is not to say, oh, you have to move your fence or you have to move your kitchen because you're now encroaching. We are doing what we call a as-is survey. So everybody has been living to say that, okay, right where this piece of zinc fence is, that's our boundary. So you're not going to disturb it. All is going to happen, you put one peg here and one
that's
peg.
happening now in the constituency.
That is happening now because right now NHT again is working assiduously with the residents in where we call Green Tank in Rose Heights to do the very thing that they have done. So the survey in that section, which is a pilot project, has been done. So where we are now is the negotiation with the resident to say, okay, there's a cost to all this. And so NHT will come forth, they will pay the money upfront to the surveyors and then work it out in a mortgage. And that has been agreed with the resident. So we are right there.
Hear you on that. Have to take a break. This is Lead Story Prime here on CVM TV. Heroy Clark in the house talking about the work he has done already and is doing in Central St. James to make the lives of his constituents that much better.
Everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Odyssey with Yendi. Brought to you by Grace, Singer, and Islandnet Services.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Oh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader. She is always right there when I need her. Oh, me! See it happen on CVM TV. I'm out.
Start your journey with a Jane Bank Small Business Loan with small business loans with as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million.
The time is 8:30.
Only a lazy member of parliament will tell you that, well, my work speaks for itself. No, it's election time. It is vote hunting season. And so a member of parliament has to speak in their own defense to press the case for them to either be re-elected or given a shot at representation in Gordon House. And Heroy Clark has journeyed from St. James to our studios here in St. Andrew to talk about why he deserves a third term in office. So MP, in the dying embers, well, we're at the end of our interview, but I couldn't leave without asking you to tell the listeners, tell your viewers rather, tell your constituents why it is that you should get that third term in office.
Well, to my viewers, to my residents, to my friends, to my family, to my supporters, you understand the work that was cut out for us. We look at social investment, road, light, and water. I have proven myself. We're fixing roads, relaying roads, fixing gullies, creating a pathway for betterment in our constituency. Schools, we have upgraded many of our infant schools. We have put in infant department in more than 2 schools. We have also given water, the precious water, to many persons within the constituency. And so, I'm saying to you, you know exactly what we have done. You know where we were, you know where we are going. We are on a pathway that we have joined forces together, and I say to you, the third term is what is needed to continue and to complete many other projects.
Your opponent has a high national profile. She's the opposition spokesperson on tourism. She gets media space when she sends things, the media pays attention. Why should someone not take a chance with Senator Janice Allen?
I have done the work. We continue to do the work. There's nothing for Miss Allen to come and to do or to say that she's going to do, because we have already done the work.
Simple as that.
Simple.
All right. Well, Heroy Clark, all the best to you on the night of September 3 when the count is being conducted. And I'm sure your constituents are appreciative of what you've done so far.
Thank you very much. And I know very well that they do appreciate the work that we have done. And we continue to do the work.
And of course, lastly, third term for the government, secure?
Straight.
Hear you on that. All the best. Heroy Clark, the Member of Parliament for Central St. James. Without skipping a beat, I'm going to the woman who's challenging Heroy Clark for that honor to represent the people of Central St. James inside the House of Representatives. She is Senator Janice Allen, as I noted, the opposition spokesperson on tourism. And she is, before we go to her, let's look at her antecedents in case you're wondering what are the qualifications of Senator Janice Allen. So this is what we have for you. 2020, she was appointed to the Senate, Regional Director of the JTB in 2015, Senior Advisor in the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment in 2012, Senior Assistant at the JTB in 2008. Yeah? So that's the woman who's going forward. Her education, she has a certificate from the University of New Orleans, University of Massachusetts is where she did her MBA, and she did her bachelor's degree at FIU, Florida International University in the early 1990s. And a woman who commands a lot of respect in all these circles that she finds herself. Senator Allen, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, George, and good evening to your viewers. And I'm doing well. I'm doing fantastic. And I trust you are well too.
I am quite well. So tell my viewers, Senator Allen, what is it that you offer as you stand, you prepare to get nominated on Monday, on August 18, and stand as an option for Member of Parliament in Central St. James?
Well, first of all, George, I want to thank you for inviting me to the program, and I must apologize for not being in studio. I would have loved to be there, but unfortunately my schedule did not allow me to be in Kingston tonight.
That's fine.
So, and it's been a long time that I've been promising it to be on your program.
Yes.
So here I am now. So I look forward on Monday to be nominated to be the candidate representing the People's National Party to be the next Member of Parliament for St. James Central, a seat that is the center of the parish. And in fact, I would dare say Western Jamaica relies heavily on Central St. James. Central St. James is home to most of the working population that supports whether tourism or the BPO or other industries. And I have a big vision for the constituency. I have a big vision for Montego Bay as a Montegonian, born and bred, raised here, went to school here, and have been back home, making sure that I contribute to the development of my city, my parish, and by extension, my country. I listened to what you said about my history and where I've been and what I've done. And whilst I've worked in both the private sector and the public sector, most people know me in the public sector by way of tourism. But I also have spent many years in manufacturing, in the creative industries, in investment promotion, and I've been able to, in telecommunications, and I've been able to, over the last number of years, without dating me too much, I've been able to amass the type of experience that allows me now to bring a big vision for my city so that we can move ourselves forward,
yes,
and to bring hope and a renewed expectation for the city.
Yes. All right. So you would have looked at the problems in Central St. James, looked at those things that the representatives over time haven't quite gotten right. And you would have said, well, I would do this differently and I can do this better. What are those things that you can do differently? What are those things that you are certain you can do better if you get the nod?
I listened intently to my opponent's interview a few minutes ago. And I'm quite intrigued, really. The perennial issue of water in the constituency is one that I never wanted to have to campaign on. But because I'm an advocate for the people, the reality is that this is a problem that has plagued the constituency over the last 2 terms of his administration, from Flower Hill to Salt Spring, Green Pond, Rose Heights, Rosemount, all across the constituency to Portobello. Everywhere you go, there's the issue of water and lack of access to it. And this issue, I believe, should have played a priority role in the administration over the last 2 terms. The truth is that even last night when the Prime Minister toured this constituency, he too acknowledged the issue of water. That is something that should never have gotten to this place. The investment in infrastructure, or the lack of investment in the infrastructure to support an expanded community where more and more people have come to work in Montego Bay and as such live in places like Cornwall Court, that was built by the PNP, or Rosemount Garden, also the PNP, Cornwall Garden, and other areas, Farm Heights, and especially to Rose Heights, where it was an informal settlement that over the last term and before, where the People's National Party was in government, we have been settling people by ensuring that they got their titles. Now that ceased over a significant period of time, and only just recently, as acknowledged by Mr. Clark, that issue has come to the fore again to ensure that people get their titles. So for me, representation must be consistent. It must be ongoing. And if you're an advocate for the people, you cannot stop.
Let me ask you then, Senator Allen. So is it a case, because the Member of Parliament asserts that the water issues are caused by supply issues from the water provider, National Water Commission. And he says, look, I mean, what can we do about the supply and the inconsistency of supply? You are suggesting that, no, it's not a supply issue, it's an infrastructure issue. So how can you change the reality where infrastructure is concerned to make the water more available to your constituents?
Well, the truth is, supply and infrastructure issues did not come about last week. They have been there for many years, and if you speak to the residents, it has been an issue for many years. In my discussions with the NWC, for example, I will tell you, if there's a supply issue, one has to invest in reservoir systems so that people can access water when the supplies are low. In Rose Heights alone, a place that I know Mr. Clark is familiar with, in Rose Heights alone, there are 4 reservoir or places for 4 reservoir tanks that are out of commission and have been out of commission for a number of years. There is one in Green Tank, there was one in Top Road, in another area called Kings Avenue, and another area commonly called Chinese Shop. None of these large tanks that, if water supply is low, have been in commission so that the reservoir system can kick in to supply the 12,000 and more residents of Rose Heights. And that is according to the last census in 2011. So whilst there is a supply issue, we have to look at the infrastructure to support when the supplies are low. And for me, it is a grave dereliction of duty that over so many years, none of these tanks have gone back into commission or any replacement for them to ensure that residents don't have to wait weeks and months to get water through the pipes.
Yes. And all right, let me hear you on this issue of these standpipes, because one of the things the MP says is that something that he is obviously proud of, he says that in several communities, he has removed that communal pipe, the standpipe where everybody had to go to fetch water, and he's now caused the infrastructure for piped water, potable water, to be inside homes. Is that what you have found based on your research or your observation in the constituency?
You know, George, if in 2025, a measurement of good work is about the removal of standpipe, then I have a little problem with that. The truth is that in my time in the community, the issue is not about standpipe and removal of. We really shouldn't have them in 2025. The fact is that we have not invested significantly in the infrastructure to support the growing, the expanded communities so that they do not have to suffer the indignity of not having water in their pipes. And in fact, when I took the decision to take on this seat and to become the Member of Parliament, I was not a resident of this constituency, but because it is in my nature to ensure that I understand and feel and be a part of the community, plus also being close enough to the people, I moved in here. I moved in here because my duty is to represent the people. That's what I grew up seeing with my father, who was a councillor. So I want viewers to your program to understand that I too understand what it is to not have water in the pipe, because I live it where I am in Rosemount. I understand it and I feel the same pain. So, and I don't have the luxury of buying water. I have to wait just like everybody else and fill my buckets in the meantime to ensure that I have water when the time is necessary. But the point that I'm making is the constituency, which is home to so many people,
yes,
working families, schools, many
yes,
schools, 5 high schools are in this constituency
yes,
alone. We have to fix this.
Hold it right there, Senator. Hold it right there, Senator. Hold it right there. I have to take the break. This is Lead Story Prime. Senator Janice Allen. She will on Monday be nominated as PNP candidate in Central St. James, and she says she has a plan to ease the water woes permanently of her constituents. More after this break.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Do you have the financing to support a long-term investment program in water? And the answer to that is yes, because we have managed the economy in such a way as to be able to do that. We deliberately make a point of every week either breaking ground, handing over, turning on, not announcing, because it shows you the track record of delivery. So you can have faith in that yes, you don't have it now, but there is a program in place backed by good fiscal management so that it can project the revenues into the future to support the future project. And that's what you want. You want government policy with endurance.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Protecting Jamaica's borders is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
8:45.
Welcome back to Lead Story Prime here on CVM TV. Senator Janice Allen says service is the family business. Her father was a parish councillor, and she says that she's continuing the line of service of the Allen family, and she wants to go further than what her father did. She wants to serve at the central government level as a member of parliament. She wants to work from the House of Representatives, and she says Central St. James is where she's looking to lend her talents to. She'll be facing Heroy Clark, the Deputy House Speaker, and a man who has won this seat for 2 consecutive elections after falling short in 2011, beaten by our good friend Lloyd B. Smith, the publisher, the head of the Western Mirror. Senator Allen, the issue of, well, before I even go to roads, I want you to talk to me about a video that you shared with your contacts in the media concerning a facility, a very good-looking facility, a community center, almost, a multi-purpose facility for residents that you said the MP had chained up the gates to, thus depriving the community of utilizing the space, and you had to help a particular group who wanted to use the space to find it. The MP says, well, all she needed to have done before sending the video was call to ask why the facility was locked off. He says it was due to an issue with the contractor which caused the relevant and the requisite utilities to not be in place at the facility. He says you exercised bad judgment in that moment.
Well, I'm happy that what he considers to be bad judgment has led to the issue being resolved. But the truth is, George, when I did that video, and if you look back at it, viewers will see, and those who are on my page, my social media pages will see, that I went to the facility to ask some questions publicly. And I did that because in speaking to residents who complained that for over 2 years that the building was locked up. Now, whatever the issues are, 2 years cannot be acceptable for them to be resolved, thereby depriving the people of a space for them to meet, for them to socialize, both the young and the old, and a place that this community rightly deserves. Now, I would like to just clarify something. I never said in my video that I had to seek a place for the people to meet otherwise. What I said was, I visited with a group that has been using the church facilities for 2 years. A church that is across the road from where Mr. Clark lives. And therefore, he was very familiar with their dislocation. So for it to have taken 2 years for this matter to be resolved is quite unfortunate and should never have taken and required for me to bring to light publicly for it to be addressed and addressed in a rushed manner. And the truth is, it's not completely ready yet. So I'm going back there.
I hear you. The issue of the informal nature of Central St. James and the increasing informality, given that people are coming into the constituency daily, weekly, because they found a job at this place, they are going to apply for a job at this place, and as the MP correctly said, you know, you stay with an auntie, you stay with an uncle, you stay with a girlfriend or a boyfriend because, you know, it's near to where you work, and then you end up living there. So that's the challenge, and it's a serious challenge. How do you then posture to deal with the issue of land titling, giving people something that they can take to a bank to get a home improvement loan, they can work with NHT. He says they have a program going now, the government, with the NHT that is moving to do that, and it is very structured, and that these titles will be delivered in the third term, which is why he needs it. How do you beat that when you stand and talk to constituents who are concerned about not having a title for the properties they occupy?
George, the issue of issuing land titles is not a new phenomenon, and it shouldn't take 9 years for the current Member of Parliament to have a pilot project in Green Tank. It should not. The truth is, when the PNP was in government, we were issuing titles and settling people because we first started settling people in Rose Heights as an example, which is where Green Tank is. Now, I will say to you, George, Montego Bay is what some would say is a carnival of informality. And that is born out of necessity, not because people want to be informal, but because they have had no choice. And part of that informality stems from the affordability of housing. And that is why the People's National Party, when we do form government in the next few weeks, our priority is to provide affordable housing solutions for the working community so that they can have the dignity of owning their own home and not having to be considered informal settlers on any property in the land of their birth. We have prided ourselves over the years on ensuring that land is available to Jamaicans, and that is why we are going to review the legislation such that the lowering of the number of years required for persons to be on Crown lands before they can be considered to own the land from 60 years to 25 years. This is a consistent effort by our administration when we form government to ensure that Jamaicans have access to affordable, decent housing in a concerted effort. 50,000 houses will be built in our 5 years. And we are going to have some of those houses in Central St. James, and I've already started the process to identify lands where this can happen. I want to add something, George, because it's very important. Very often, especially at the time around of an election being called, many things are announced and new things being done and pilot projects here and there. As a two-term member of parliament, we shouldn't be talking about pilot projects now. And I want to go back as far back as when this constituency was part of Northwest St. James, when in fact Horace Chang was the member of parliament and covered the area of Canterbury, where he then made a promise and a commitment to the people of Canterbury to settle them and to invest and provide 77 homes that they can then relocate. That has not happened. On the other hand, the People's National Party relocated people under PJ Patterson out of places like Railway Lane, Barnett Lane, and other places in the urban center to Providence so that they can own a piece of Jamaica, and we will continue in that rich tradition when we form government. And when I become the member of parliament, I will be the chief advocate in that regard.
All right, just a few minutes left, so hear me to you now. The numbers suggest that you have a difficult path to Gordon House because the MP increased his majority substantially in 2020, and in the last local government elections where the PNP performed tremendously well across the island, still locked out in the constituency across the 3 divisions. This suggests that Heroy Clark has control of the numbers game. What gives you then the confidence that you can overturn the numbers that are in his favor?
Representation matters, George. And where the people do not have adequate representation and someone to voice on their behalf and advocate for them and present a vision that they can live up to and dream on and be hopeful about the future, then they will see the need for a change. As a Montegonian, I believe in this city. I believe in this place, and I know that it will change on September 3. The fact is, yes, the numbers may suggest that it's a steep hill to climb, but I have the fortitude, I have the commitment, and I certainly have the drive, and I have the plans that will ensure that the people of the constituency will recognize the difference in what currently is and what will be when I become the member of parliament. My priority areas are very simple. I don't come to people with a long list of promises. I firstly come with a commitment to be available, a commitment to be an advocate, and a commitment to ensure that the basic needs of our people, whether it is in water or housing, are attended to, that our communities are filled with spaces where both the young and old can have places to socialize. Too many of our communities are without that. And I will begin by ensuring that in places like Green Pond or even in Barracks Road, ensuring that we work and develop special facilities in schools that can be shared by communities. Also in Albion, that happens. We have not invested in those social services for our people. And in a tightly confined space as Central, it is important for this. And I will say to you, the other thing that I'm focused on for our parish is the regeneration of our urban centers to ensure that urban dwelling and commercial are able to live symbiotically.
Yes, hear you on that. You've used up all the time very well. A mark of a good debater. Thank you, Senator Allen. All the best to you on September 3, and we'll talk again.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a wonderful evening.
All right. Senator Janice Allen there. She is set to be nominated as PNP candidate in Central St. James on Monday, August 18. I make way for Euclid, Orville Higgins. Euclid. Very interesting. Fan Central comes up next.
the internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Odyssey with Yendi. Brought to you by Grace, Singer, and Islandnet Services.
From politics to global events, from social issues to breaking news, Lead Story Prime dives deeper, cuts through the noise, and uncovers the stories that shape your world. Join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for Lead Story Prime with me, George Davis, for an hour of incisive analysis, expert interviews, and unparalleled coverage of the issues you care about. Lead Story Prime, your front row seat to the most compelling discussions. Lead Story Prime, where the truth comes first. Only on CVM TV.